having an okay lane against Kyocha. Okay, it all makes sense, but when it comes to team fight, they've been dropping a lot, and Daka joining the team fight really didn't help at all.
Well, KSV Black's going to throw a curveball and go to Dragonshire. Usually we see the Cursed Hall, but that map has been highly banned and has actually moved into... A lot of pro teams have kind of decided that they don't like the map recently. Because if you lose a team fight at a really critical moment, you could lose the game. And I suppose KSV Black is concerned, especially after that second game where they lost a few team fights, and they might end up getting double bossed under Curse or something like that if they lose a team fight at the wrong time. So it's becoming a less popular map pick. This is a map where, even though it's going to take a lot longer for KSV Black to show their dominance, you can just control the map in terms of macro. I think Dahaka is probably going to have his best map to be picked on now, for Feliz at least.
I think they, with this background, maybe they should just keep that Dahaka. Maybe move away. But let's go into the first man. Has been Maiev all the time, and it is still Maiev.
No adaptations there.
Sometimes you can just throw out something else and then force the other team to ban Maiev, unless if that doesn't happen, you can just grab it in your own hands. So I've been thinking maybe they're just not ready for that first pick. Maybe they just saw what Black could do against it.
I get the feeling this is either going to be a Medivh ban or just going to go back to the Genji. I don't think this is a map where KSV Black wants to run Medivh. So it's just not as powerful here. You can easily get your Master's touch stacks, but that's like not what Medivh is about anymore. Medivh's about circle protection. Master's touch obviously is going to give you a lot of damage, going to give you a lot of opportunities to win longer fights. I was thinking about the Garrosh too, but this is Noblesse's decision. He's asked to lock in the Garrosh, but love to see this guy in camera. The Garrosh locked in here means that KSV Black is moving away from the tank they used in games 1 and 2. But for no real reason that we could tell, that we could see at the moment. It was not a weak point for them. In fact, it was a strong point. Very quick builds of the quest, the Groundbreaker quest for Tist as well. Interesting. Makes me believe they want to maybe try to run something more dive-oriented, like run the Anubarak.
I believe OJ played Garrosh, especially on this map, and most played also. And Black wanted to have Genji and Hanzo open at the same time. I think that's something else that they wanted to have it going into their own picks. But moving away from Hanzo, they're going with that Tracer Malfurion pair, which is also open. Great to counter the Genji gank in for the rotation, the sustain, of course, with the Malfurion. What were you trying to say?
I just want to say, like, there's also, like, this is the first time in this series that Feliz has the opportunity to pick Medivh. So it is a Genji composition, and it's not the greatest with Medivh, but they can show us now that they have practiced the Medivh if they want to make a big statement on shutting down pulse bombs with this hero that has a very short cooldown protection. This is the first time Feliz is going to have the chance to do so. In Game 1, it was banned. In Game 2, it was picked in first rotation by KSV Black. This is their first opportunity. It's the Hanzo, Sonya, so staying away from the Medivh.
They've got the picks for Frankel, Hannington, and Aimer. And Aimer did not play too many Genjis, but of course, Frankel, after losing that Tracer, got sniped so many times, had to kind of adjust into the Hanzo role. And now Hannington will actually play Sonya this time, adjusting from the Haka. I like it. She can dominate the lane, which means they can control the macro. They have pretty quick camp timings with the Hanzo. So far, a lot of damage. They have the control over the lane.
I want to know... I'm in agreement with everything you're saying, but I'm in deep thought on how... What is going to be... There's the Medivh ban. What is going to be the tank pick here? What's Noblesse thinking? Is it the Anubarak I thought about earlier? Look, two people on the screen right now, most important people. Noblesse is about to tell Tist what he's playing in Tist. Get your feedback on
Seems
whether
like
he wants to
Noblesse
play
is
it
like
or not.
rapping on the side.
It does look that way. He's got a wireless headset on too. Okay, Junkrat. Tyrael. Tyrael is going to be the lock-in here. Despite the change to the shielding down to 75%, can still give a lot of shielding to a Tracer. And it's the new Trinity we talked about with Tracer, Malfurion, Tyrael. Very powerful. Junkrat going to be great for reset, for some secondary damage and control over the 4-man.
trying
terms
to
of-
they're trying to isolate with the mine, with the holy ground, to get to burst damage on a single target when Feliz does not have the protection. They and the Medivh.
Yeah, they banned the Medivh. What do you think here for Feliz? You know, they have very few tanks, but the Anubarak is one they could use.
And Blaze would have been very good, but they already picked Sonya, so it becomes a weird scenario. But Blaze also came in as a main tank a few times, not often. It is still possible, I think, against this kind of draft.
Especially because I think KSV Black 100% locks in the Blaze if you don't do that. Let's see. Okay, gonna go back to the Muradin. Muradin was picked in second rotation with no tank bans. They take the Malthael instead to win the matchup against Sonya and have Stukov, and it can obviously burn through a lot of what Stukov can do in terms of healing. It's not a bad choice.
Hey Wolf, you don't sound too happy, of course.
Do
I think after watching Stukov Muradin, I think we were expecting something else.
Yeah,
to be honest.
I was curious what the Garrosh ETC bans were gonna mean, and then they just wanted to take Tyrael. That was basically what they wanted, and they were leaving very few options for Feliz. OJ, obviously a great Muradin player. Garrosh was his go-to. He had the ability to play Anubarak instead, but it's not the greatest versus this composition. It's tough to choose which target you cocoon. Cocooning Tracer would have been okay because it's tough to break that with the other heroes, but by the way, this is what we get, G-Clef, for perhaps our last game of the series. OJ's Muradin was not bad by any means last game, but Medivh really helped against that. Not going to be available this time. And let's see how badly Honiton loses the top lane, because that's going to be the big macro focal point with these two teams that don't have crazy fast camp times with the exception of Frankel.
It will be painful, and oftentimes when he played Sonya, he was against that Martel, lost the laning phase very, very hard. And he's a passive player who plays Sonya. Doesn't really pair up together, those two words. Let's see how well he does this solo lane. Maybe they want to swap it. Of course, not yet. They're still looking towards that big silence that no one's going into.
Okay, Liu gonna eat some damage here. Rich is so happy to just build pulse bomb charge off this. Grabs that Tyrael shield. Could really feel the 20% difference though, or 25%, excuse me, difference. So they are using the Genji swap in the top lane, which clearly they were willing to do in the draft early. They didn't just blindly pick this Sonya thinking, oh, there's no way they'd pick Malthael. They had the Genji already. They knew that they could try to dominate that. But when this happened on game 1 on BOE with the Genji lane swap, they lost a wall. They need to somehow prevent that from happening or get the top wall at the same time. Look at what KSV Black's already moving towards. Knowing that Genji's top, they're grabbing solo Junkrat on this camp while prepping the waves. They're going to rotate back to protect him. And Feliz needs to do something with this Genji pick.
They end up pressuring the top lane a little bit so that Sonya doesn't lose that lane phase so hard.
Rich is the target here. Totally missed Stormbolt though.
But they didn't really get anything out of it. Black didn't lose the EXP of maybe some structure damage.
They're looking for a Dragon Knight here. 137,
Oh,
body block, and there you go. Oh my god.
Is that a record?
That might be a record.
I think that's record at least for Korea.
That might be a Korean Dragon Knight record. Okay, so Feliz made one critical mistake. So remember we talked about Junkrat soloing the camp while Genji was messing around top and setting up in those bushes around the Dragon Knight. Feliz wasted time with both the Genji and the Muradin in mid. So the camp take was never threatened by Feliz. Frankel almost died, by the way. If he had a line of sight for pulse bomb, would have been dead. So anyway, they get bought. Top is won already by Malthael, so he sits there. KSV Black goes mid, knowing that Feliz took the camp. They were in the process of taking the camp, the Siege Giant camp. KSV Black, all they have to do is body block the Stormbolt to get a Dragon Knight. Crazy quick play, fast decision making. This is a bait too. They need to be careful about this. Okay, well, actually no, my bad. That was not a bait. Look at KSV Black. They're doing the neutral camp.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Fleas there. But they're also doing the camp, so they're in control of the macro. They broke through the wall. Fourth is almost down. Even just the minion just pushing in will just destroy that for the minutes. And talking about rotations, Feliz, they have been outstuck. Here comes Genji though. Kyoto
I
needs
like
to be
this.
careful. Steal the camp. Wow.
Malthael does not really have a very quick timing for the camp, and he takes a lot of damage while doing it. Obviously talking about the Knight camp versus a Siege Giant camp, so this is a really cool invade. I like that a lot. Especially as a Genji, you can do so much with this against Malthael. This could be another pick too. OJ coming to try to stop the retreat. Shields coming through from Tist, and that spell armor as well from the wizard minion.
And at the same time, they're really making that steal work. And Sonya soaking up the mid. Unless they lose someone, everything is going to work out. They have all the lane controlled out there.
Yeah, that silence really helping to zone out here, but the spell armor making it not do as much damage as we would have liked.
This is exactly what you do if you have the camp. If you have Tyrael especially, make sure all your minions, all your heroes next to you. Get that shield and push as much as possible.
You know, we talk about so much about how Tracer just can't kill a Hanzo almost ever. Even when Rich is on...
That's a kill.
That's definitely a kill. Even when Rich is on the Tracer, though, against the Hanzo of our second lowest team in this tournament, he just can't kill the Hanzo. If Hanzo is positioning correctly and has a few teammates to peel, it's tough to kill. It's crazy to see that Rich just keeps trying to find a way to kill the Hanzo, and it's the same thing he witnessed in their match against, you know, Miracle.
It's a little tougher job for him because of that silence.
True.
If he goes in that silence, lurking arm, he can't blink. You can't. It's really hard to escape from that moment. So I don't think it's the best choice to actually go dive in super hard, even if you're Rich.
No.
He's being a little bit cautious as he will get very likely to be. Oh, that stone bolt misses and may actually save him.
Not
Never
quite.
mind.
Close call there, though. Nearly got away. Just a little bit too late to shield. I feel like this has been a pretty sloppy game by KSV Black. They're not showing a lot of respect to Feliz, who's actually, even though they got totally crushed with that early 137 Dragon Knight, they're a team that does understand rotation and does understand punish play. That's why they were, when they tried to solo the camp as Malthael, for example, they end up getting caught there. Now the Dragon Knight controlled. Franco gets another kill here onto
Solo
reset.
kill?
Yeah.
Did that ever happen onto reset?
I mean, it's definitely happened before, but normally it doesn't happen in circumstances like this. Like, remember, too,
Like
that
a 1v1. I don't think that ever happened.
his whole plan down there is to get some extra soak to keep even on 10 while the Dragon Knight pushes. He thought all of Feliz would be top, but I guess he used his cooldown early or missed his concussive mine. Or perhaps, like, didn't have ammo, and because concussive mine came in and actually knocked Hanzo into his range, and then he just ended up killing himself. We'll never know. But, anyways, KSV Black maintains 10 regardless. This Dragon Knight doesn't do too much damage. But I do feel they're not showing the proper respect to Feliz, who certainly is actually, at this point in time in this game, nearly caught up. They're caught up in experience.
After the first Dragon Knight, I think they were kind of slacking in their macro, thinking that they can just push in when the camp timings are just right because they have Tyrael, they have all the poke, they have Tracer to snipe. But after that first Dragon Knight, it has not been working. Feliz actually countering that super well. For a split second, they were actually the one leading the game when they hit 10. Now behind them slightly, but still getting that Dragon Knight. Still very possible.
Yeah. One big bone I have to pick with Feliz today is that they've been prioritizing Muradin for OJ, and his Storm Bolts, especially in this game, just have not been good. Gonna get the stun here though onto reset. Good zone there with the silence. Means no way out this route. It's gonna help everyone else get away. Meanwhile, in mid, 2v1. You know what? I can't actually tell. I cannot tell lies. I cannot tell lies about KSV Black. They are getting out-rotated, out-macroed this game. I will not say otherwise. Feliz is out-macroing KSV Black right now.
By taking kills, by sniping onto...
Punishing greed, basically.
Yes. And they also have Hanzo and Hanton. Even with all that, I think can survive. They've been doing the camp from the bottom lane. They have all the macro controlled now.
I would love Feliz to actually go try to invade the night camp right now. That's where KSV Black is headed. KSV Black gets the faster rotation there, so...
That would be super hard. All five men were back, and they had this one pushing, so might as well just make this worth the while a little bit more.
Yeah, I meant more after the pick, but even still, like, because as you said, they have this pushing, they can rotate over. KSV Black does see the 5-man. They have vision of it, so they can, or 4-man. Sonya's staying. I sometimes just say 5-man when I mean a big rotation, but in this case it is technically 4-man. They actually do come down and defend it. Leave the first time reasonably for Malthel to take the top camp, so that's going to be traded.
Easy camp, Hanzo, done. That's basically what Hanzo does. Every camp in 6-7 seconds. Please take. Hanzo may grab. I think if OJ stands in it, they're going to get it.
Yep, squatting it with OJ. That's one reason for the Muradin pick here. Last Right's gonna grab that kill there with Tracer.
He knew that he was going to die. Doesn't even pop that avatar.
Yep,
Great job.
Worth it. Liu with the shove to get the delay on the rotation up. Top forts just for experience here. Feliz obviously kind of with the loss of their Muradin can't really try to push for mid. In fact, they're even struggling to get this top. They got out rotated here again in terms of speed. So this Dragon Knight is kind of just stepping on flowers and making the place a little bit sneaky with his feet. He's not really hurting anybody.
Right now buying time because OJ died. I think they were just trying to buy time, make sure they still control the macro, and they still have somewhat of a time, 20 seconds to do some damage.
This Dragon Knight is basically just allowing them to grab better minions and get better soak right now. And that might be all they get, 10 seconds. They should be. The problem is it's also Hanzo in there. If it were almost any other hero, especially OJ who is dead, then you could do a lot more with it. Oh, look at that lurking arm over the wall. Dragon Knight expires. Hanzo taking the safe rotation back. He has his Dragon's Arrow, but is not going to look for a stun here. Oh man, that concussive mine was beautiful. If it wasn't Genji, it would have been a kill for sure.
Well, they have all the Overwatch. They have Hanzo and Genji. The Shimada brother can always go over those walls.
Now we got 4 Overwatch heroes in this game. Junkrat, Tracer, Genji, and Hanzo.
Oh man, what a time we're living in.
Time to be alive, man. You got me and Heroes and Overwatch caster.
Well, StarCraft Phoenix is coming soon.
Phoenix is coming soon. I'm hyped. Okay, Kyocha, locked down here. Stun. That's what I'm talking about. Saves it there for the secured kill. Very well played. KSV Black cannot fight this anymore. As much as Rich would like to come and carry, he can't. He's out of position. They do buy a ton of time, though, with this. This is really well done by Test. Oh, can't out ruins. Sanks.
Looking for that rotation. Sona is already there to punish.
Riptire destroyed. I don't know about that Sank. Rich is trying to find a kill here onto Frankel. The rotation was a little bit sloppy here, but look at that. Aimer coming through. Gets a reset. He's coming with him. Oh, there he goes. Gets a swipe. Gets away from those death grenades. Sake pops Tranquility. And G-Clef. This is a basically team wipe.
Woo!
KSV Black is playing sloppy. Feliz is punishing. That was a really messy fight, and there were opportunities for KSV Black to punish some of the things that Feliz was doing, like leaving their Hanzo behind, spending a lot of time attacking the Tyrael, who was definitely going to die, and waiting for the Sync to standing there taking fort shots. So it was definitely pretty sloppy on Feliz's side as well, but I think KSV Black just being way too greedy.
You know, a few of those games in Quick Match or Hero League, you just lose a member, but because someone in your team pinged for that tribute or pinged for that camp, you just end up going there, right? Because someone pinged it. I think that's exactly how KSV Black is fighting right now. So Kyocha died. Okay, we shouldn't fight. So there's no communication. They just follow because they have to save their teammate or something else happens. They're losing the shot calling right now. I don't think anyone's doing the right communication in that team at the moment.
I mean, the sanctification there, it's still going to be up in 10 seconds, but if he had died maybe 10 seconds faster instead of trying to use the sank there and, delay further, he would have been up faster. And if he was up faster, he might have actually been able to delay this Dragon Knight with a sank. There might have been some way to do that. Instead, he goes down. Feliz is going to actually be able to hit things with this Dragon Knight. As you can see, wasn't just stepping on the grass. Aimer needs to be careful about moves like that. Could get rooted.
Still 12 minutes into the game. And Black is one of the teams that makes the big comeback mechanics all the time. And this map is the one that, as you mentioned, can always happen with one single Dragon Knight at the end game.
I don't know if I agree with you about KSV Black's comebacks because they don't play from behind very long, very often.
I know.
They actually they're pretty this is actually pretty new territory for KSV Black.
3 levels apart.
Yeah, they are getting crushed this game. 12 kills to 2. Reset tagged here by all those scatter arrows takes a lot of damage. The problem is Feliz can't pull the trigger on killing a keep. If they killed a keep here, this game is almost certainly theirs, but they just cannot find it. Now they're getting caught on the retreat. Stun has to be used defensively. Here's the last rights on the Liu. Sank for the chase. Dragon Blade coming through. Good deflection. Great deflection there from Aimer. Needs to do more damage. Ice Block delaying here. Tranquility. Still not enough, though.
But guess what? Those poke choke points are the best for that scatter arrow damage. And Frankel's still alive, just doing poke damage. Aimer and OJ still survive.
I think we're going
to
game
game 4.
4.
What did you say before? When we
It
went
wasn't
to
me,
the
it was
break?
that girl with her dog interviewed outside.
Oh, yes. And I was saying maybe, so I wasn't 100% on that. But here we have a day where KSV Black is actually dropping a set, which means I don't think they are taking the first place.
It's going to be difficult. Every game matters. If they keep playing like this, they could lose a series. Reset nearly dies to minions. Ping's coming out from his teammates telling him to get out of there. It's not important. We need to regroup and deal with the next Dragon Knight. Should be respawning soon. Feliz is going to have 20. Let's see what KSV Black does while they're behind. I'm actually really curious about this, okay? They could still win this game, but now they have to
20,
they have to get a fight. They have to get a pick.
And the
Or
fight.
they have to control the macro while down a keep. They can't win a fight down 3 levels and against 20. Even against Feliz. I don't think that's possible. So they can't just continue to win the macro and just win more plays like they normally do. Just, oh, we're already ahead, let's get further ahead, let's take this camp, let's push this lane. Looks like they want to try to take a 5v4 fight down here because they know Sonya's top. They need to get ready to jump in there and initiate, though, if that's going to be the case. Sonya's coming down. Feliz wants to make this a 5v5 because they have 20. What's KSV Black going to do? They're going to take this camp? They're getting split. This is scary.
Sonya's coming down, and Black, they need to fight in an open space like this. They are looking for the best position. Frankel's looking for that arrow.
Rich needs to get a pick.
Only one.
Okay, here comes the Riptire. Good position here with the Sank, but it's just completely ignored. However, the Pulse does get that kill I was talking about. They've removed the damage. This could be their opportunity to win the fight. Rich trying to get in there to the back line. Zoned out by Hanaten. Okay, they're going to leave, but they need to run and grab that Sun Shrine. Look for a Dragon Knight. That's their best bet.
Already going up with the mines. Getting that cooldown reduction with the talent. I think they may be able to grab it though.
Yeah, they will get the Dragon Knight.
Sonya is right there to stop the channeling.
Okay, but they can zone her out, body block her out. Okay, Dragon Knight comes through. 16 minutes. 25 seconds till Hanzo comes up, so this is easily going to be the keep wall. They did it. They got the pick. Rich was able to get that kill. That changed everything. He was able to find that. That's a mistake in terms of positioning on the side of Hanzo. The peel, you could already tell from OJ and Hanaten, was really good to protect Liu after Hanzo died, but they weren't in position to save him because he was being greedy, poking, looking for that fight. So they have this push coming top, looking for keep walls here now to get 20. Dragon Knight doing a ton of damage 17 minutes into the game. Feliz, how are they going to engage this once the Dragon Knight falls? There's a way they can punish and win the game. That's why KSV Black has to be so safe right now. Backing off.
They just spot Sonya in the mid lane, clearing that wave, so they're backing up slowly as they can't really get close enough to 20, making that engage.
Okay,
It's a double stun, but not really, no damage follow-up.
That kick was a little risky. Does get away here with the Dragon Knight's explosion. Another Stormbolt misses. Hanaten coming for the flank, though. This is a great flank for Sonya. Tranquility used early. Great Riptire for the peel. Hanaten is going to eat that last right sandwich, mostly mitigated by Ignore Pain here. But again, Rich finds the kill onto Hanzo. And again, that is all damage essentially removed on the side of Feliz. They don't have any sort of protection for Genji to get a Dragon Blade to pop off. So when that Hanzo dies, Feliz dies with them.
It took a long time. It took a long time for Black to figure out how they should engage against that silence, against that shove. But basically, having that sanctification against the silence was worth it, worth the trade. Able to get the space for Rich to dive in to get that pulse bomb onto Hanzo. It didn't work at the beginning, but it ended up working out after level 18. Not the best game for KSV Black in history, of course. Possibly the worst game of when they won, of their win.
You know what? It's
Not really going for the core.
Yeah, it's not actually a win yet, but KSV Black gets this kill. They secure the keep finally at 18 minutes. Latest keep KSV Black's gotten in their career. The first keep at 18 minutes. Like, whoa, this is not. I don't know what's. I'm not feeling okay today. You know, kind of a little bit off today. Kind of feeling definitely on the team now, but punished for their own greed. Their overzealous plays that they've. I feel like in the history of KSV Black / MVP Black, we've had a lot of moments where the team struggled because they were so dominant, and eventually it was just difficult to get better, and as a result, practice became worse, and you know, et cetera, you know how the rest of the story goes, but I don't think that's the case here. I just think in this particular series, after game 1, both games 2 and 3, they've just been really, I almost want to say disrespecting, not giving their opponents the proper respect they deserve, just trying to play this like it's a regular Hero League game or a Team League game at home when
Black
it's not.
can engage, but no one's top, so they don't actually have to go all in. They can just stall time. Meanwhile, Hanzo was grabbing that camp first damage.
Oh my
going
god,
into
another
OJ.
Stormbolt miss. Either that or it was the cleanse. Animation delayed. There's the kill on the Rich this time. Dragon Blade could do more. Reset. Getting healed up through this Tranquility, so Aimer unable to get the kills he's looking for. The Sank here. They can't collapse onto it, so Hanaten is still going to do a lot of damage. Gets a lot of heals from this Whirlwind. Uses Ignore Pain. It's going to help him get that kill there onto Malthael. And this ends up being a trade in terms of the fight here. Lots of poke coming through from Reset, though. Feliz has to back away. Aimer's in trouble.
Is already back into the team fight very soon, so Sonjan has to leave. They all have to leave. They will be out-rotated very soon.
Okay, that shove was pretty much required.
That was painful. They lost Rich from the beginning of the fight. Reset, his skill shots were missing oftentimes.
Yeah, well, 15 seconds before Rich comes up, but this is still going to be a Dragon Knight with Malthael here, you have to imagine. Stunned, or sorry, rooted, and that is almost a kill onto Aimer. There's the Dragon Knight. They're going to go core, 21 minutes. Close calls in this game for KSV Black. 10 kills down. See if that changes as they hit the core, but 10 kills down currently in a 21-minute Dragonshire game on their map pick. I don't want anyone to watch this game and say KSV Black has lost touch or KSV Black is weaker than we thought, because I feel like that's not the case, but I feel like the big takeaway is Feliz is the team to be taken seriously. KSV Black did not do that. And had OJ hit maybe 2 or 3 more Stormbolts this game, then I think that KSV Black and all the viewers at home, as well as you and I, will be watching a game 4 right now.
They're waiting for that Dragon Blade moment. Back in 10 seconds. I think Dragon Knight is way too strong in the late game, and OJ super low.
Okay, Dragon Knight doing a ton of damage to this core.
They're buying time.
It's
OJ's way too low with the last ride. That's going to be a kill, and that's going to be a game, guys. And Rich higher.
Rich goes down, but yeah, the Dragon Knight does 5% per hit at this stage of the game, so he just basically solos it while the rest of the team peels for him. And KSV Black will take the 3-0. Those, besides Kyocha, no one's really smiling after this one. I think probably the most frustrated of all will definitely be Coach Noblesse. Gave them some really creative drafting there, targeting the tanks in that last game, drafting into the Malthael, and putting the Tyrael into it. And instead of taking the more team fight oriented approach to the game that their draft should have allowed, they tried to roam the map looking for kills, tried to take greedy camps, and tried to be flashy and walk out with a 3-0 that was over way faster than it should have been, and they ended up falling massively behind. The scoreline here you will almost never see is KSV Black winning a game down 10 kills.
Tracer died 6 times. There were too many counters, even with a lot of those Stonebolts missing. And OJ oftentimes, sometimes they paired up really nicely with the Swift Strike. And also Sonya basically meant Tracer was dead, which helped Hanzo to get that damage in the silence oftentimes, which was sniped with those CC. But even with that, there was not enough to really win the game. They had all the tools to win, but they were slacking at the end at the late game team fights. Feliz really fell apart. It was a hard game for KSV Black, but I feel like after game 3, Feliz took away all the advantage from game 3. I think there's a lot to take away from KSV Black. Their drafting style was kind of weird. They were really greedy. They do this sometimes when they're super hard in favor against the weaker team. But I feel like they should be moving away from these kind of things.
Yeah, especially as we head into a new meta. Banning the Medivh, for example. I think KSV Black came in to like make a statement today. Like, Medivh is our new thing. It's really strong. Look out. This is what's up. And then also to be like, we're also way better than this team. We can draft a little bit unusually and then just roam around the map. We can have Malthus soloing camps when we don't know where Genji is because it's Feliz. They're not going to be map aware enough to punish these plays. Coach had 5 deaths that game. I think 3 of those were either in the solo lane or in solo camp. So these are things that come back to bite Feliz, as we do have our 3-0 ending on 3 of KSV Black's best maps. Obviously, the Dragonshire this season, they're 1-1, but last year they've had great results on the map when they weren't playing against the big 3. And Feliz, I think, came in today with some strong drafting, some good adjustments. The Hanzo priority, I think, was absolutely correct. But OJ picking a very non-meta main tank in the Muradin and just not hitting the Stormbolts when he needed to.
I think a lot of the teams will be sniping his hero pool. Ben Garrosh, Ben ETC, then OJ's left with a Muradin. Basically, that was what KSV Black was trying to do, as Noble as coach was trying to snipe the tank. There's knowing the weak link, and Muradin, of course, in this game 3 was a lot better. But in game 2 especially, he was taking way too much damage. He was dying before the team fight, so the entire team couldn't even initiate because of their tank missing from the game for the next 20 seconds, next 30 seconds. There's a lot of work for OJ to be worked on, but I think it's not just himself. The entire team really following up with him, not really letting him die. I think that's a lot more important for Feliz to work on right now.
I feel like Feliz has made big improvements, G-Clef, from part 1 to part 2.
I know after that game 3, your tongue must be twisted.
Yeah.
I know.
Everything's twisted. We saw Ace as well look pretty solid against Tempest, so there's improvement, I feel like, all around from the lower teams right now in Korea. Let's take a look at some of these highlights because there's a lot to talk about. This map is where you go, oh my god, I can't believe we actually let Rich have Hanzo on this map. They lost every Immortal, didn't have any poke, as you were saying, which is a really great point against the ranged Immortal. Bunker torches this. Bunker's nerfed, by the way, on this patch, but, or is he? I think that said 40, I think it's supposed to be 50. I'm gonna have to check on that. I'm pretty sure we're playing on patch 3.60, right? Or 30.6.
I think it is the duffed one with the cooldown.
I thought so.
Yeah, but he used it. I think the cooldown goes the moment you use it, so I think it's still on 50. But the number just shows up later because the bunker breaks later, then the number goes down.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Okay, I didn't really think about that. Anyway, this is a polybomb synergy that we saw where they're tossing polybomb targets into each other with Medivh, with the Garrosh. Not in this particular fight. This was actually just a really cool team fight at the top lane, showing the aggression. I bet we probably just watched the last fight of the game. Nope. Okay, we're going to watch a few of these fights. So this is really cool. This is really good coordination with the Hanzo and the Stukov there. So none of those Kocha deaths in the top lane, caught by the arrow. Slow rotations up from KSV Black. What were they doing before? Trying to take a cab when they didn't have control of the map. Okay, this is a intense fight where the peel there coming through from the Riptire. Look at Rich. Sanctification allows him to, as you pointed out earlier, go through there, avoid any sort of CC, toss the pulse in. Sank was placed in front of him, so he blinks into the Sank, then gets the kill into Hanzo. Hanzo expected he'd be fine, but it was not the case. Our MVP will be reset for this series. G-Club is going to translate this interview for you guys.
Hello, we have reset. as
네,
the
감사합니다.
MVP. Congrats on
일단은
your win
먼저
tonight.
승리 소감부터 말씀해 주실 수
And
있나요?
first, let's hear how you feel after
오늘은
tonight's
근데
win.
남은 경기 전부 다 이겨야 저희가 이제 1등으로 갈 수 있는 확률이 많이 올라가기 때문에
And our chances
오늘도
will
좀
go up if
집중하면서
only if we have
했는데
all 3-0s.
마지막 경기가 좀 많이 아쉬웠던 것 같아요.
But of course, game 3, we have a lot of disappointments. We have a lot of things to say after the game 3.
영원의 전쟁터에서 유독 KSV 블랙 상대로 겐지로 이 치유의 샘을 깨는 전략이 좀 많이 나와요.
And especially
맞아요,
against
맞아요.
you guys in BOE, there are lots of teams that tries to break that fountain with the Genji.
팀에 이제 겐지가 있으면 저 겐지는 이제 무조건 우리 샘을 깨러 올 것이다.
We
알고 있기
know,
때문에 그냥
we
무조건
basically know every time when there's a Genji on the other
반대쪽
side in
저희가
BOE.
이제 라인에서
that they will be
타워를
going for
깨는
that
이득을
strategy.
무조건 취하려고 해요.
But instead, we like to push the lane and try to take down the towers instead.
막는 모습을 계속 보여주는데 그래도 상대 팀이 겐지를 뽑았을 때 연이어서 이런 모습 보여준 이유가 무엇 때문이라고 생각하시는
Why do you
게
think
있나요?
all the opponents are trying to take down the
사실
fountains?
그쪽에 있는 샘을 깨주면은 그래도 첫 싸움에서 오브젝트 싸움에서
If they get the
샘을
mid
먹으러 갈
fountain,
때 동선이 낭비가 좀 많이 심해가지고 그쪽 샘을 깨주면은
when you're fighting for the
많이
first
한타에서
immortal phase or the second one,
좋아지기 때문에 그런 것 같아요.
you actually have to lose
첫
a lot of time,
불면증에서
use a lot more time to rotate around.
그렇죠.
네.
But I think that's the
그렇죠.
reason why they
네.
try to do it.
이 KSV 상대로는 전혀 안 먹히는 전략 아닙니까?
But it's not a strategy that
거의
doesn't
그럴
work
수도
against
있다고
KSV.
그렇다고 보면 될 것 같아요.
그럼 이제 앞으로는
I think it was a
상대팀들이
okay strategy, but not really the best one.
그래도 안 했으면 좋겠어요.
네, 우리가 잘
But
막을
still, I don't think.
좀 불쾌하긴 하죠.
네,
Still,
많이
I
불쾌하죠.
네, 치유샘에 엎드고 막 그러면
wish the other
위로
teams
가서
don't
막
really
먹어야
use that
되는
strategy
게
against
없으면.
us.
사실 하나까지 괜찮아요.
네.
근데 탑에 있는
Losing
팀들이
one is
좀 많이
okay,
약해요.
but if we lose
알겠습니다.
one of the bottom
두
or the top,
번째에서
it really feels bad
메디브를
for us.
권했어요. 여기서는 물어볼 게 좀 많은데 맨 처음에 사케 선수와의 인터뷰에서 노블레스 코치가
In game 2, you have the Medivh. Last time when we had an interview with Sake, he said that Noblesse was not letting us play Medivh.
네.
Did it go through this time?
이거 어떻게 된 겁니까?
Explain to us what happened during the draft.
그냥 재밌고
Medivh is
그러니까
just super
제가
fun
많이
to play.
써보기도 했고
And
그래서
we
한번 써보게 된 것 같아요.
used him a lot. I think we will be using him a lot more later on.
네.
네, 지금 2순위가 리세 선수라고 들었는데
Oh, we said the
개인적으로
hierarchy in the
노블레스
team.
코치의
Noblesse is on
말을
top and
들어보니까
Reset right
메디브가
below.
그래도 우리 열어주면 막을 만하다.
막을만 한데 솔직히 이제
Do you think Medivh will be coming out a lot more?
이제 템페처럼
Or can you stop
만약에
them from
메디브를
playing
많이
Medivh?
쓰는 팀이 나오면 좀 힘들 수도 있을 것 같아요.
그리고
Well, I think we should be using a lot more, but against Tempest, some teams like that may or may not use Medivh. I don't think
이게
it's going to be the same case
봐도 될까요?
every time.
지금 폼에서는 리세 선수가 조금 더 메디브를 잘하니까 내가 대신 썼다.
사실 성향 차이도 있고.
Did you play Medivh instead of Rich because it fits your style a lot more?
자리를 좀 잡고 있기 때문에
I
제가
think it's
메디브 같은
not only that, but
형식의
also
영웅을 제가 하고 있는 게 맞는 것 같아요.
Rich is doing a lot more hard carry hero instead of myself. So I think that's more of a reason why I was playing Medivh
그리고
instead.
세 번째가 사실 제일 중요해요.
And of course, let's talk about game 3.
네.
네, 레벨 차이도 좀 많이 났었고.
And there was a big level gap
그렇게
too.
된 이유가 뭐 팀 내에서 우리 이런 것 때문에 좀 어렵게 갔다.
Was there a reason why some feedbacks after game 3? Why the game was so tough?
명의 실수도 있었고.
We were having lots of mistakes individually.
저희가 운영 단계에서 탑 쪽으로 지원을 가지 않고 그냥 바텀 쪽에서
Instead of rotating top,
차근차근 풀어갔으면 됐을 것 같은데 너무 탑
I think
쪽으로
if we
쏠지다
went to the
보니까
bottom,
상대방한테
it could have been
기회를 준
worked
것 같아요.
out a lot better in terms of rotation. But I think we were picked off. Individual mistakes really
네.
made it hard for us in game 3.
네.
개인적으로 강팀이잖아요, KSV.
Of course, you guys are the stronger teams in Korea.
부에서 올라온 팀 그리고 기존에 있었던 뭐 중위권 팀들이
And you teams from the open division.
KSV를 위협하는 그런 경기들이 많이
There are lots of
그런 경기
single
치를
games
때마다
that
좀
you guys are
어떻습니까? 이
threatened by the new
KSV,
teams into HGC Korea.
많이 수준이 올라갔다 이런 걸 느끼시나요?
Do you feel that a lot of the lower teams are stronger overall compared to last year?
이렇게 한 판씩 저희가 이제 그 경각심을 가지게 되는 그런
We have these kind of games that we actually become super nervous
더 완벽한
and a lot more motivated to practice a lot more.
된것 같고요. 팬분들께 온라인으로 시청하고 계시는 그리고 직관 오신 팬분들께 한마디
And of
부탁드릴게요.
course, last words to your fans out
남은
there.
경기가 이제 뭐 블라썸이랑 발리스틱스, 템페스트
We have versus Blossom, Ballistics, Tempest.
그래가지고 남은 경기 전부 다 3대 0으로 이기면 저희가 이제 1등으로 갈 수 있는 확률이
If we
올라가기
finish everything with
때문에
a 3-0, we do have a
우승을
high
많이 하고
chance of
있으니까
becoming the first
앞으로도
place
많이 지켜봐 주시기 바랍니다.
at the end. So keep on rooting
네,
for us. I
인터뷰
think it's still
감사합니다.
possible.
저는
and-
데스크로
Well, it's
돌아가도록
if
하겠습니다.
if he does finish all games with the 3-0, then it's not possible they will literally go to first place. If he beats both Ballistics and Tempest with a 3-0, then they go to first place, assuming they also beat all the other teams.
Yes,
Um,
very likely.
But you know, if you're a pro gamer, you're always thinking about the stats, you're thinking about the games, the drafts,
The possibilities.
possibilities. Yeah, that was a cool interview. Talking about individual mistakes, talking about the strength of the new, open division teams finding success.
And talking about the each game, I think Prime did a pretty nice job.
That was a really good
in the
interview. Yeah, that was actually really insightful. There from Reset. Knowing that games like this scare the team into practicing harder, working harder to make sure that they can remain on top. So, he actually just pointed out basically though, like they have all the rest of their matches. I think they have their match against Ace, and then after that, the rest of their matches are against like top 4 teams. So they had like the easier ones already, and then the rest of them are going to be against really strong teams. So that's very exciting for KSV Black because they're going to be tested and tested and tested every week. Really moving on.
I think
after
they
this
were
week.
really tested a lot from the lower teams, and I think they have been really putting that practice together. Of course, today they were not perfect. They almost crumbled in game 3. They almost took a set. They almost lost a set, which could have been a big upset. But after taking that 3-0, I think they will be going home thinking we can't be slacking off, guys. We have to go practice right now. We almost dropped the set.
Yeah. I think that is completely correct. But guys, before we go into our second and final series of the night, we are going to take a fairly short break. Not super short,
10
not long.
years.
10 years or so. We'll be back very soon.